So our next commands are going to be related to IP addresses, which are super important because we did set up a whole virtual network. So we want to type in ifconfig. So if you type in ifconfig normally, it's going to give a command not found. This is because Kali Linux currently has restrictions on user permissions. So to bypass this, you can type in sudo, which will give any command administrative level privileges. We can do sudo ifconfig. And then it's going to prompt you for a password. So we can just type in Kali one more time. And this is the output. So let's just do that one more time, because we do see a bunch of extra information. Sudo ifconfig. And here's the ifconfig parameters. So we see ETH0, which is our network card. So this is a virtual network card inside our Kali Linux machine that is connected to our NAT network. And here we can actually see an IP address given to us, as well as inet6, which is our IPv6 IP address. But that's not important for us. All we want to know is that our IP address is 10.0.2.15, and our net mask is 255.255.255.0. And we're going to get into this more later on, but for now, that's all the information we need. Another quick command we want to know is netstat, which will show all open connections to our computer. And this is a lot of information right now, so let's change that up a little bit with netstat, and let's give it a few flags. Let's do P for ports, S for listing, all local services, A for all, N for numbered, and T for all active TCP connections. So plant, netstat tac plant. And we can see that nothing's currently connected to this computer, which makes sense because we just booted it up and we have no other processes or services running currently. So one last thing I wanted to go over was understanding Linux architecture. So we're currently in the desktop folder. So, but if we go back up one, cd ... we type in ls, we see desktop, documents, downloads. This is similar to the My Documents folder you will see on a Windows machine. So if we go back up one more, this will be essentially, we see the home folder and the username Kali, because that's the username we logged in with. If we go up one more, we type in ls, and this is essentially our C drive for Windows computers. We see all these are all the program folders, the etc folder, bitdev, boot, home, and I just wanted to go over the few major folders. So if we go into cd etc, and all etc folders, this folder group here has to deal with configurations. Linux settings are all stored in text files, and that can be manually edited to change the settings within Linux. That's why we went over text editing. For example, if we wanted to change our startup programs, we would simply just edit a text file. It is quite different from Windows and will take some getting used to, but no worries. So if we go back to cd ... back to our root folder, type in ls, and then we can go into cd opt. OPT stands for optional packages. If you are working with multiple people accessing a single Linux system, you would want to download your tool into the OPT folder. This will give access to all users within the system. cd ... So now if we go back up, and we can go into the proc folder. So if you go into cd proc, and proc stands for kernel and process files. Files within this directory represent system informations and processes. So if we go back up one more time, and let's go into the temp folder. The temp folder is pretty straightforward. All it stands for is temporary files. If you go back up one more time, and that's about it. Awesome. So now we know basic Linux commands and directories, as well as some basic architecture. Thanks for listening.